Report a bureaucrat. Plenty of you have been doing that lately, and that leads to some good stories like the one we're about to get. But if you see government overstepping its bounds, it's simple. Byline at sunmedia.ca. That's how I was put onto this next story. You've heard me talk about Agenda 21 before. Well, last week somebody said to me, have you checked out the South Saskatchewan Land Use Plan, the regional plan in Alberta? Yes, there's a South Saskatchewan River. It flows through Alberta. It's a regional area, and they've got a land use plan. Part of it is to stop human access. They don't want ATVs in the area. They don't want boats in the area, and the law allows them to do it even on private land. That is the shocking part. Keith Wilson is an Edmonton area lawyer, joins us now from his offices. And Keith, you went across the province talking about this law, this draconian law, the Alberta Land Stewardship Act, back before the last election. But you hadn't connected it to Agenda 21 at the beginning, correct?
That's correct. I was asked to do a research paper for the Legal Education Society on the law, and frankly, I couldn't believe what I was reading. I couldn't believe that a government would put such draconian powers and a far-reaching legislative framework in place in all places of Alberta. And it wasn't until later that somebody drew my attention to Agenda 21, and I kind of winced a little and thought, what's that all about? And sure enough, did some research and found that the United Nations has a document that's called Agenda 21, and that's what they've named it, and it calls for a far-reaching paradigm shift on how we manage our economy and our lives, and shifting to a greater role of government in all those aspects.
Yeah, I mean, on every aspect where humans impact the environment, which is pretty much everywhere. I want to read a couple of parts from the Alberta Land Stewardship Act. I'll read one, get you to react, then get to the other. This is from Section 9.2, subsection C. And it says, whether or not another enactment deals with the same, similar, or associated matters, make as part of the regional plan law on any matter within the legislative authority of the legislature that is designed to advance or implement or to advance and implement the purpose of this act. That's very long-winded and strange, but boil it down for us. What does that mean? Because to me, that sounds like a far-reaching power grab.
Yeah, what it basically means is rather than calling the legislature into session and having elected MLAs, members of the elected legislature, make laws, the cabinet's given itself the power to make and amend laws from the cabinet room. And when I first spoke at the legal conference to a room full of a couple hundred lawyers, I thought that was unconstitutional, and some subsequent research has revealed that under our Constitution, in fact, the cabinet can do that. Very troubling, but that's what they've done. They've given themselves the power to make laws in the secrecy of the cabinet room.
All right, and here is subsection E of that same 9.2. Manage whatever is necessary to achieve or maintain an objective or policy, including managing all or part of the cause of an effect or those matters that affect or that might affect the economy, social objectives, the environment, human health or safety, a species, or any element of any of them. Again, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense on its own, but as part of this act, that to me says that cabinet can dictate to you on your land, whether it's off in the country or in the middle of the city, exactly what you can do on your land and how, if it touches on the social aspect of Alberta life, the economic aspect of Alberta life, or the environment. And there's not a stitch of land in the province that this doesn't affect.
That's correct, and that's what it means legally. And not only is that what it means legally, it means that, or the government has said many times in writing and publicly that that's what they intend to do. That the government has said that all of our current systems for managing life aren't working, that there's some big crisis, which I reject. There's always an opportunity to improve things, but I think fundamentally the rule of law, respect for property rights, limits on government's accountability have worked for us. But the government seems to feel they're not, and they have said we need to do this bold, transformative paradigm shift to where the cabinet, through regional plans, will decide what you can and can't do on every acre of private and Crown land, and they say they're going to set targets, limits, and outcomes, not just with respect to environmental matters, but with respect to economic and social outcomes, they've now drafted the regulations, and the regulations say that if you don't achieve the economic, social, or environmental outcome that they set for a target or a limit, that the minister shall appoint government officials to prepare a management plan, and you shall comply with it. In black and white, it's outrageous, but that's what's happening here in Alberta.
Okay, just need a quick answer on this. Am I wrong to assume that this law takes us from being private property owners to tenants and serfs on what we thought was our own land?
No, you're not. This takes us back to pre-Magna Carta. The whole principle of our legal system and how we've evolved, the timbers of our Canadian society are made out of respect for the rule of law, limits on government, respect for private property rights, access to the courts, and this legislation offends each of them. This government's taken an axe to the timbers upon which Alberta and the Canadian economy is built.
Keith, good talking to you. We will chat with you again soon. Absolutely unbelievable. I want to read you quickly from Agenda 21. This is part of what they say when it comes to land use. They are coming for your land. The objective is to provide for the land requirements of human settlement development where appropriate, the encouragement of communally and collectively owned and managed land. That's the UN document that Alberta is basing its land plan on. They are coming for your land, and they want control. Share your thoughts on Facebook. More to come.